Good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon, classmates. So to continue the staffing process, we have here number 4 or the step 4, the selection of the best qualified applicant. Several aids are available to improve the selection process. These are the examination of biographical data, observations of the candidate's performance in actual tryouts, psychological tests, interviews, and physical examination. Biographical data showing personal data, educational qualification, and past experience that give some kind of a track record on which an applicant's competence can be assessed. While for some jobs, it is possible to test an applicant's skill in the work by observing his performance in the actual tryouts. So one of the example is a typist may be asked to copy a letter, or a computer programmer may be directed to program something on a computer. So next is psychological test. It is very important that managers should understand what tests do and what their limitations are. Tests are of various kinds. So we have here intelligence test, aptitude test, trade test, and personality test. Next is the interview. Interview is really the most crucial part of the selection process and often carry the most weight. It is also here where the manager can make the greatest contribution to better staffing. Interview can serve to provide insight into how well the applicants and the manager can work together in achieving the organization's objectives. Another important aid that must not be overlooked in the selection process is the physical capability of the applicant to do the job. A thorough physical examination often reveals ailments and disabilities which might militate against his performance. The fifth step for staffing process is the orientation of the new personnel. Orientation refers to the introduction of the new personnel to the organization. Organizations that spend a great deal of money and time in the recruitment and selection processes often ignore the needs of the new personnel after they have been hired. Most fail to realize that the first few days of the new personnel in the organization are critical. For these new faces, the first few days are days of uncertainty and anxiety. Some authorities in management suggest that before the new personnel start working, they have to sit down individually with their immediate manager to formulate and agree on approximately 3 to 6 goals in the subordinates' area of responsibility. Such goals must be observable, measurable, and behavioral terms. The sixth step for staffing process is the appraisal of performance or performance appraisal. Appraisal is a must in every organization. Both the manager and subordinates want to know the quality of their performance. Process of appraising consists of 2 steps. So we have here for number 1, subordinates is rated to the extent that he achieves the objectives of his position. Rating a subordinate is one of the most difficult tasks of a manager must perform. This is difficult because it requires utmost objectivity. When evaluating performance, the manager should measure the output and not the input. The second step for appraisal process is the manager and the subordinate should meet to discuss the appraisal. If the subordinates achieve his objectives, the manager praises him for doing right and tells him how good he feels about what he did right and how it helps the organization. He then encourages the subordinate to do more of the same. But if subordinate fails to achieve his objectives, the manager tells him briefly in a very specific terms what he did wrong and how he honestly feels about that. The manager should remind the subordinate how he values him and that he thinks well of him, but not his performance in this particular situation. The seventh step for staffing process is we have here the promotion and transfer. The difference between a promotion and a transfer is that a promotion is an upward move, while a transfer is a horizontal one. Promotion may amount of filling a vacancy or maybe an appointment to a new position. More specifically, a promotion involves change of duties, more difficult work, or an increase in pay or salary. While transfer involves no change of class, but a change in the organizational unit, a change from the jurisdiction of one manager to that of another. So the last step for staffing process is we have here human resource development, which refers to the updating of the personal's knowledge and attitude with the end in view of improving their skills and performance to achieve organizational objectives. A properly trained workforce at all levels from top to bottom is very important in any organization for its continued success and survival so that it can meet the challenge of change, be it in economic, technological, social, political, legal, or ethical. So here, a human resource development program should consider the following steps. Analyze the training needs. Second, formulate the training objectives to give direction to development and to facilitate the measurement of effectiveness of training efforts. Third, plan training program to achieve objectives. Fourth, implement the training program. Fifth, review and evaluate the results of training programs and methods of training. And last, modify the training program and the methods of training in the light of evaluation. And that ends our report, the staffing and the organization. We hope that you learned a lot from this discussion. Thank you so much for listening and watching.